Welcome. Today we're here to talk about GoToRoom, what it is, the vendors that we're working with today, and more specifically, I want to key in a little bit more on our partnership with Poly and some of their new offerings, specifically the X30. We'll take a look at that today. So GoToRoom as a whole, really what we did was we took the power of GoToMeeting and we built a solution that works with a lot of different hardware through the three vendors that you're seeing on your screen right now. So when we looked at the design of GoToRoom, we really looked at the different size rooms and types of rooms that we're dealing with. So first and foremost, when we think about the huddle room, right, we think about the rooms that fit about 2 to 6 people. And as promised, when we look specifically at Poly, what are those specific offerings that we have today with them? First and foremost, one of their newer offerings and what we're going to touch on a little bit deeper today is the Poly Studio X30. Really great device and includes the X30, the TC8 tablet, which is going to be the room controller itself. All the cabling, the power adapters, etc., does come with this, but this is a great offering from Poly. This is something that I am currently using today in my home office, and we'll detail a little bit more. Some other offerings, we do work with their Poly Studio, which was one of their initial offerings for the huddle room. That one, we include our GoToRoom Nook computing unit as well as a MIMO touch panel display. Again, that touch panel display is a controller for the room. This will give you a short glimpse into all the things that do come in this bundle. When we look ahead, the next room that we're looking at is a room that seats about 6 to 12 people, those medium conference rooms. So with Poly, what we did there, we do have two components that we're using from them. One, the Eagle Eye 4 USB camera that has full pan tilt zoom capabilities. We're also using from an audio standpoint, the Polycom Trio 8500. Both great solutions from Poly, very powerful. And those again are working with our GoToRoom Nook computing unit as well as the MIMO touch panel controller. The newer offering that we have in the medium huddle room from Poly is the Studio X50. Much like the X30, very similar in that it still uses the TC8 touch panel to control. The Studio X50 is larger than the X30 and does account for that larger space. A lot of great innovation that they've built into this. A lot of similarities between the two, but we're going to talk about the X30 a little bit more today. The last room size we really work with and what we look at is the boardroom, right? We think about those 12 or more people that seat a pretty large table. Stay tuned for what's coming with Poly on that one, but let's go ahead and look at first and foremost the GoToRoom software, right? The hardware is a component of this with GoToRoom, but more importantly, the software and the simplicity is something that I want to take you through right now. So when we think about Poly, and let's take the example of the X30 as promised. When we talk about the software that comes loaded on this kit, first and foremost, that TC8, the tablet, that room controller, this is going to be the interface that will be on that tablet. So things like scheduling meetings, and we talk about meetings, first and foremost, we have the calendar integrations, right? We have the calendar integrations with Office 365, G Suite, and Exchange. Okay, so as you're scheduling meetings, and in this example, I'm using GoToMeeting. If I scheduled a GoToMeeting and I did it through Office 365, it will populate on this room device and allow me to have a very simple way to join into that session. The other options that we have are joining or starting sessions within that room. And that's what we're going to do for the example today is we're going to join and enter in the GoToMeeting ID to attend this session that we're in right now and show you what this X30 has to offer. The other options that we do have wireless screen sharing. So the URL that you're seeing on this tablet will also be visible on the monitor that's in your room, or even with the X30, what I'm using today, the monitor that's sitting on my desk. So this will allow me through a browser to not have to worry about connecting any cables in, anything like that. Entering in this URL will allow me the option to wirelessly share my screen. So with that being said, let's go ahead and I will go ahead and enter in. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to enter in and enter the 9-digit meeting ID and join this session. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to click on go. Now I'm joined in with the Poly Studio X30. So it was a very simple join experience for me. My audio connected automatically, my video connected automatically. Now what I'm looking at for the TC8 controller where I entered into this meeting are all my controls for the session. So things like muting and unmuting, turning on and off the camera, seeing who else is part of that session, opening up the chat dialog box, seeing the upcoming sessions. So that calendar integration, now knowing, hey, there's a meeting happening right after this one, and keep me on time within that meeting session. Those are all things that are on one pane of glass with this TC8 controller. What you'll also notice when I joined in, kind of turn this camera off so we don't have too much inception going on here. But when I joined into the session, it framed me out right away. It's what Poly calls their group framing, right? So it knows that I'm in this room. It's concentrating the camera on me. What's also happening from an audio standpoint, the microphones that are built into the Studio X30, it has beamforming technology. So it's doing a very good job of picking up the audio so you can hear me quite clearly. On the other side, when other folks are speaking, it does have a very good speaker that's built into it where I can hear quite clearly what's going on. The other things from an audio standpoint that Poly worked in, their patented noise block AI technology, it is now available with these X30s and the X50 as well. A very great technology that, again, helps concentrate on just the conversation that's happening in that space. So that very quickly, I wanted to kind of have you see firsthand when I joined in with the video here what was happening. Also wanted you to hear the audio, and I'm sitting a good 3 feet away from the camera right now, just to give you a good point of reference. But this is one of the newer offerings that we have here at GoTo with Poly. Hope this helps. As always, if you have any questions, we're always happy to help. Thank you for joining in today.